What are some things you'd only know by growing up poor? How to keep a 7-year-old from knowing she's poor. My mom used to take my brother and I to the soup kitchen every week to volunteer. We must always be kind to those less fortunate, she'd say. Then, after volunteering, "Oh, it's so late and I don't feel like cooking. Let's just eat here while we're here." When someone breaks into your house but doesn't take anything. Happened once. Still think it's funny. You go to bed early to skip a meal. Your dad asking you for $20 so he can go to work for the week but he'll pay you back when he gets paid. IDK about in other states, but in MN they can't shut your power off during the winter because of the danger of someone freezing to death in their house. So that was a good time to try to catch up on some other bills you are way behind on too. I'm hungry, drink some water. We were probably the best hydrated children at school LMAO, but I think the thing I appreciate most is the independence I've gained. Through fixing things to keep them going, or from just not wanting to ask my parents for help when I know they're struggling too. I truly had no idea until I was in my junior year of high school taking child development that Head Start was a program created for children from homes of low income. I simply thought it was a place for me to get a head start as a kid. I still remember my teacher saying verbatim, "No honey, your family was just poor," in front of the whole class. What hunger really is. I remember waiting for my dad's payday for the grocery shopping trip and being absolutely ravenous when the food got there. Food stamp paper change. When I was a kid, if you used food stamps they would give back the change in food stamp form. My mom was too proud to publicly use them, so she would make up a reason to leave and I would have to pay using them. I was 11 or so. She did it every time. I had to learn to keep my head up. Government cheese. Doing your laundry in a bathtub using only cold water. BC the gas was shut off. Trying to spend a night at your friend's house. BC they had food and a warm room. Thanks Nikki. Loving going to school because you could at least eat there. Trips to Goodwill for new clothes. Showers at school because at least 3 water was warm. Being made fun of because you smelled like kerosene. Having lice and no one doing anything about it. Going to school with bruises. BC your parents took their shitty decisions out on you. I'm so grateful to a handful of people that saw potential in me. I went to college, got a great job, and broke the cycle. Thanks Tom and Tony. Most gas station attendants will not stop a small child from stealing toilet paper from their bathrooms. Who knew that sometimes your parents sacrifice everything they have, including their sanity, just to see you happy? And you only learn later in life the soul-crushing existence of poverty. Then you wonder how they manage to do so much with so little. Outdated technology. When I started college, one of my professors asked if anyone in our class remembered how you changed a channel on the TV before remote controls. I was the only person in the room who remembered turning dials and adjusting rabbit ears, despite being one of the youngest students in the class. Because my family had a TV from the 70s until 1995. Same sort of thing with computers, phones, etc. If we had it at all, we got something much later than anyone else, after it got cheaper and bought used. I got my first computer in 1999. It had Windows 3.1 and that was what I used until I was able to use my financial aid to get a new PC tower for college. You don't want to repeat a grade level, not because it's embarrassing or mommy will scold you, but because that's one less year before you can graduate, work and ease the family's financial burden. My mom could somehow cook 2 chickens on a Sunday and feed 6 people all week. Towards the end it was more just corn chowder cooked in chicken stock. But it was dinner. Also we kept a garden. You didn't work the garden. You didn't eat. Sit down on a summer evening. Better have a bowl in your lap and be shelling, stringing, or shucking something. Feed the hulls to the neighbor's pig because she'll save a ham for us. 1. How to do everything without money. Laundry gets done in the sink. Walking is cheaper than a bus. A shower is cheaper than TP. Torn clothes can be mended. 2. Money isn't everything. 3. Giving when you have extra is the best way to stay afloat in times of need. Thanks for the gold, guys. You have more of a tendency to be generous. I think. I grew up dirt poor with like 2 pieces of clothing to my name, and most of our meals came from the food bank or from donations from the church my parents attended. Still, my mom mostly would not hesitate to help someone worse off than us. Also, you learn how to have fun for free. Kid me thought that getting to use the free desktop computers at the library and going to the park were the best things ever. How people who have money treat you. I went to a girls-only grammar school as I passed the exams to get in. There were girls whose parents wouldn't allow to come to my house. I felt lonely, worthless and isolated a lot of the time. But I got my PhD in the end. So Doc UMR and Mrs. Bromhead. Back to school clothes aren't an option. You don't throw away burnt toast. You scrape it. You only flush if you went. Number 2. Eating out of boredom is a luxury. Churches and organizations can make your Christmas happen. Although you'll mostly get necessities. Shoes, underwear, winter coat, shampoo, etc. Poor kids should just be happy someone cares enough. We aren't given normal gifts. My mom would wrap what presents we got using old newspaper and magazine paper. She's tailor the pages to look pretty or refer to a joke or hint at the present inside. We thought it was normal. It didn't occur to me until I was an adult. Not to ask your parents for things. This will help you a lot in your adult life because you understand the value of money at a young age. You will learn to understand to appreciate things more. And being thankful comes naturally. Instead of just expecting your parents to get you everything you want. You will get to know the word no a lot, and you learn how to deal with it and move on. Instead of having a temper tantrum. I'm honestly grateful that I was raised this way, and when I have kids they'll do it the exact same way in this aspect. Even if I do make enough money to buy my kid a fancy gadget every time he asks for it. Fuck no. Don't expect that ever. This isn't the MTV's My Sweet 16. As the well-known and overall hated saying goes, money doesn't grow on trees. Witness to the adage, how much you really do have. Major fire wiped out several $100 million homes. Heat generated left rubble of 2-story homes only feet high. Families devastated. I still see the face of one man so completely shattered. I wondered if he would live to be able to rebuild. I later was in the command post area when I was approached by a young girl and her father. The dad couldn't speak English, so the girl would translate. My family wants to know if this is where we can bring donations for the people whose houses burned down. To my working knowledge, none had been established at that point. Her father talks. She translates. Can we leave it here? Many roads are being closed, and we are not familiar with this part of town. I walk with them to their car. A much older beater. The mom and a couple of siblings in it. Dad opens the trunk, and together, we all bring out couple cases of water, canned and dry food, adult and child clothing, some used toys, and prepared food. Almost listed when each kid handed me their toys. Little girl, we have so much stuff and we want to share with those families. Pre-cut Christmas trees are free on Christmas Eve. I remember the Christmas tree hunt on Christmas Eve was like our little family tradition. We would drive around in the evening looking for stores that still had trees sitting out front. 9 times out of 10. When we would ask about the tree we were interested in, they would say just take it. Glad to get rid of them by that point. Every year we had a perfectly beautiful tree, and it was exciting to find perfect trees for free and then stay up late decorating it with homemade glitter pine cones and candy canes.